In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to design your website header, primarily using the Content Templates feature. This allows you to create detailed web page content without having to write HTML code. For more information on adjusting your header via HTML, please see the tutorial that's named BG003, Changing Your Header Logo via HTML. Okay, so let's start off by taking a look at our default storefront here. So our default header is shown in this screenshot here, and it contains a logo and some basic links, that some of which were set up by default, a couple of which have been added separately. Our task over the course of this tutorial will be to understand, modify, and further design the header that's going to be used throughout our website. To begin, we're going to ensure that our logos are available for use within Infigo. So to start off with, we're going to go to the admin area of our site. I'm going to go to Content Management and then Appearance Settings. Now, appearance settings contain quite a few different things, most of which will be covered in various different tutorials. What we're going to focus on right now is this section right at the top, where we've got the ability to select our logo and to change our branding colors. Two logo options are available on the appearance settings screen. So we've got a color logo and a white version of the logo. So the color logo is just for general use, and the white version is generally used for darker backgrounds. To update the logo that's currently in use, because you can see at the moment it's just using the standard Infigo logo, you can click Select. Now, logos from every storefront on your platform will be visible in this selector on the screen now. You can either double click on an existing logo, or you can click on the Manage Images button on the top right of that little window to add some additional images. That's basically just changed the tab from here to here. All we need to do next is to click Upload, select the relevant images, so one or multiple, and click on Open. From here, navigate back to the Manage Themes tab, and then you just want to click Select underneath the relevant logo field and select the relevant logo by double clicking on the image. So you can see there I've got the color version and the white version. And make sure you save the page before we make any additional changes. So with our logo updated, we'll now navigate to our editable content area, where we can modify many of the areas on our site, such as the header and the banner and the footer and various other bits and pieces. So if we go to our Content Management tab, and then we'll click on Editable Content. So there's lots of different entries in here for various different areas on your site. And we try and split these into sections to make it nice and easy for you to navigate around. What we're looking for now is the header. And that is the bottom entry in section 1. So the general section, right at the bottom, there is a header field where we can click on Edit over on the right-hand side. And what you'll find is that most of the editable content blocks will have a layout that's very similar to this. So what we're going to do first of all on here is to look at this body text editor option. Now there's 3 different options in here, and you will see those 3 options for quite a lot of different editable content blocks that you're trying to create. Rich editor. So think of this as a word processor style input. So it has direct content formatting options. So bold, italics, paste a picture, update a link, something like that. This will not generally be suitable for something quite complex, such as the header, where it would be more suited to HTML. but may be suitable for something like general page content where it's quite well structured. So then we have the Code Mirror Editor. This is a code editor where HTML code can be directly input into Infigo. This option may appeal to those with HTML coding experience and can give you greater control over the design and functionality of your header if you have the skills to write in HTML. So the HTML code that appears can either just be amended or can be completely rewritten by the administrator. When you're using the HTML editor, it also allows you the use of tokens, and tokens can be found towards the bottom of the screen here. Tokens are pieces of information which are predefined elsewhere in Infigo. So rather than just having a static bit of code in your HTML, such as, let's say, a URL or a link to an image or something like that, you could have it linked to a token. So basically, if you amend the setting that token is linked to, it will update it wherever that token is used. So a good example of this will be the logo that we just updated a few moments ago. So there will be a token somewhere in these lists down here, which is to do with the logo image or the color logo. And if I look in line number 11 of my code, I can see that there's an entry there which is theme.logocolor. So I could have that just as a static PNG or JPEG or whatever I want as my logo. But if I have it set to theme.logocolor, which is one of our tokens, then it's going to utilize whatever is detailed in that other setting that we were looking at a few minutes ago. So that logo field that we were updating. Okay, and then the last text editor style is the content template editor. And this is what you would have found it on by default. So the content template functionality, it covers quite a few different areas of the editable content, and we'll try and cover those in a few different videos. It's functionality that eliminates the need for any HTML knowledge by replacing the standard code mirror editor that we've just seen with a series of simple inputs and controls to create the header or the other piece of editable content that works for you. So this functionality is constantly being improved, meaning the layout of the controls may differ very slightly from the images that you see in this video guide. The general methodology, however, will remain the same. So the first thing we need to do is to select the content template style that we're looking to make. So there's a drop down here and you can see that we're already on header, so I'm not going to change that. Then we want to access the general header settings. So with header selected as our content template, if I come down to the first of several settings icons, so this gear icon, that will load up this header configuration screen. So this screen provides options for controlling the general content and layout of our header. It includes options such as whether or not you want a sticky header, so whether it stays in place on your screen, the layout of menus and submenus, the inclusion of languages and currency selectors if you want to include them, the inclusion of a search box in your header, and the logo that you want to select between. So if you want either one of the logos that we uploaded, or you can upload a custom logo. So if we change a couple of these settings, click OK and save. And then what we'll see if we refresh our homepage on our storefront is an instant update to how this header is now being shown to our customers. We can see that my logo has moved to the center. It's using the updated logo. I have my links. I have my search option. My language and currency selectors are available. So we can see how that's working out for us. Okay, so we might want to continue to design our header. So the default header contains 3 of these top level navigation items. This about one is an additional one I added for a different tutorial. And you can see that we've got one which is just a single link on the actual navigation bar itself. We've got one which is a 1-column drop down containing both parent and child entries, and one which is a 2-column drop down. And all of these configurations can be controlled using our content templates. So I'm going to navigate back to our editable content details. I'm just going to get rid of the about section, which is the one I added additionally. And then we'll make something else in here. So what you can see is those entries that we have, so the home, the categories, and the products, all have their own section in here. The home is just its own section with no drop-down entries. We've got this one, which is categories, where you can see there's these parent and child categories. And then we have our 2-column option, the products, where again, we're just specifying different entries in the list in 1 column and 2 columns. If we want to add a new entry to this, and of course we can modify the ones we've got there, we can delete them if we want to do so, or we can create new entries in here from scratch. So I can go to add content. Header item is going to give us that entry with no drop-down options. 1 column will give us the current configuration we have for the categories. And 2 column will give us the current configuration we've got for our products. So I might go as a 1 column, just as an example. I then type in the name that I want of that particular drop-down entry. So the one that will actually appear on our navigation bar itself. So let's say top-level navigation button or something like that, just so we know exactly what it is. And we do have the ability to add a link to this if we want to. So if we want to click on this and for it to actually link to a particular page, we can do so. You can see you can link to a product, a category, a content page, or a blog entry, or one of the standard Infigo pages, such as your homepage. We don't have to link that to anything. If I then want to apply a sub-item, so something that will appear in the drop-down list, I can say add new menu item. You can see there that's created a sub-item within our primary item, where I can again put in the same kind of details, so a sub-item, and I can specify a URL if I wish to do so. Now, when you select one of these URL types, you will get a search box appearing to the right of it. And when you start typing things in here, it will sift through the appropriate type of item in order to allow you to find the exact URL that you need. So for example, if I wanted to find a content page, let's say the Contact Us page, I could go to all content pages, start typing the name of the page I want, assuming it already exists, and then say Contact Us. The URL has now been populated, and that link will now work. So we could add a second item in there really quickly. Let's say we want to connect this to one of our standard Infigo pages, let's say our login page, for example. And again, there is that URL populated. We can add as much as we like to there. Once we're finished, just click on Save at the top of the screen. And then let's just take a look at our storefront again. You can see there that our new entry has been added with our 2 sub-level entries created, and the relevant URL links are in place.